Oh, don't the weekends come round very, very quickly when Spurs are playing? Yes, it's another weekend. We've got Spurs to look forward to. This time, West Ham. Let's see how we do this time. Who's in charge? Who knows? Hello and welcome to PRTV. I'm Sam Spurs for Life, and this is your PRTV Paxton Road TV preview show for the game. Tottenham Hotspur versus West Ham United. London derby kicks off 4:30 on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And in the house, joining me tonight, this afternoon.
Feels like that.
Oh, I do like that. I'm getting ahead of myself, Sid, getting ahead of myself. Welcome, my compadre, the numero dos, uno, dos, whatever. We are a combination, duo, partnership, whatever you want to call it. Sid Spurs, welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. I tried to take, I think I was telling you just off air, was take a little bit of a break from Spurs. It kind of, it does that to you, doesn't it? We've seen what's been happening. We see 1 minute we're beating Manchester City. No one can beat us at home. Manchester City can't even score a goal against us in 5 games. And then what happens? We go to Leicester City, where we did the preview show. Oh, look at the results we've had against them. Going to be a lot of goals in this one. 4-1 to Spurs, 3-1 to Spurs. No. What happens? We get bad. Now I've got some injuries. Conte's come out, said he's probably come back a little bit too early. I mentioned in that last game, the press conference before, it was a bit weird. Nobody knew who was going to be in charge on the bench. Now I think we do know. Stellini is going to be in charge for the foreseeable future. What do you think, and what do you make of what's been going on at Spurs this week, Sid?
You know what? I think I'm just a little bit confused with why Conte came back so soon. Gallbladder is not an operation where you come back straight away kind of thing. And we don't know how severe it was, but I've had family members that have had it, and it takes you out of action for a while. You know what I mean? So in terms of Conte, I don't understand why he came back for the Milan game. He should have and Leicester game. I think he should have fully recovered. Stellini was in charge the previous game and we won. So, and he's his number 2, he's his side. He trusts him the most. So I'm confused why Conte came back, and then they get absolutely battered by Leicester City. Then, you know what a great advert for Champions League football on Tuesday night. The 2 worst teams probably in that Champions League, and they perform. I think, you know what, we didn't play that bad actually against AC Milan. I think we've done all right. To be
honest, mate, I didn't see the game because I was at work. I made a bit of an excuse. I was at work. I come back a little bit late, and to be honest with you, the game had started, and I was like, you know what? I see the score was 1-0 down, and I kind of already thought, yeah. But so, how was it? Was it any decent performances?
It was a decent performance. I think Saul was really good. Saul really impressed me. We had a few chances. I think on another day we could have done. We could have beaten them. I mean, the goal was what it was. They got lucky with it. But going back to the original thing, Stellini should have been kept in charge until Conte is fully recovered. Because for me, Stellini was taking us a little bit forward, because the performance against Man City and that, it looked like we were playing decent. There was no cracks. Everything looked all right. And then he comes back, and then we've got cracks. And boy, did Leicester open them cracks up wider. The gaps just got bigger and bigger in them holes. And Wednesday wasn't much. And then he's turned around and said what he said about he's got at Chelsea. He loved it at Tottenham. He's loved it at Chelsea. He loves the Premier League. But my heart is always set on Italy. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. But I think a lot of people will agree he should not have come back until he was fully fit.
Yeah, let's hope that, because I think him coming back, it certainly, some of the things he was saying, like Instagram posts, how he loves Spurs and he's going to be back. And then he was saying before that, his heart's in Italy. He's confused. I don't think Conte at this moment in time knows whether he's going to stay or go. Maybe deep down he might have made a decision, but I don't think he's maybe inferred that to the club. I'm just speculating. I don't.
I think he's made the decision, Sam. I think he's made this
You
decision.
do? You think he has?
Yeah, I think he's gone. Because why would you say stuff like that? My heart is in Italy. I've got to go back at some. Why are you even saying all that kind of stuff? I think deep down, I think
puts pressure on the board, though, doesn't it? It puts pressure on them to make. You know, if it shows that his desire is not, it's a couple of things. It kind of shows his desire, his heart's not here, and if his heart's not in Spurs, all the things that he'd said before doesn't make sense. Oh, I love it. The club's great. They're treating me this. They're doing this. All that doesn't make sense. Again, we don't know about the transfers, whether or not all the buys were his buys. We know some of them clearly weren't. But all these things are unanswered questions. And for him then to come and say, "Oh, my heart's in Italy," well, hold on a minute. You've been managing over here before. You've done that before. I know he's an Italian and they've got strong connections there, but he's had a lot of personal troubles this year and last year. So I do believe that's played a lot. Maybe a bit of reflection. We're all going to have that at some point in our lives, and maybe that's what he's going through now. But we've got a team that needs to perform, and I'm not being funny, but I don't actually think this is a bad thing for us in the short term. Don't get me wrong, in the long term, you obviously don't want Stellini to be in charge because he's not qualified in terms of the experience, all the rest of it. But I think the players will certainly respond to him because I've said before, you usually have the good cop, bad cop sort of scenario in a team. Yeah. I think Stellini's maybe that guy that maybe has a bit more of the arm around the shoulder, kind of encourages the players, talks to them on one-on-ones more so than Conte. I think Conte's got more favourites within the squad, and I don't think some of the other players necessarily communicate well with him. Whereas I think Stellini, from what I can see, he's just got that about him. He's just like a friendly guy. Everybody wants to be his mate sort of thing. So do you think that's going to be a big difference for the game on Sunday? Stellini being in charge?
I think so. I think we sort of saw it against City because that performance against City was decent. And I don't know what it is. Maybe he's telling them something different, or maybe the way they're reacting to Stellini is different. I don't know what's going on, but you've gone from a good performance against Man City to an awful performance against Leicester. Absolute awful. And with Stellini, substitutions is going to be key because he did make them quite early and when he needed to make them. So I'm intrigued and I'm very interested to see what happens on Sunday. Team formation, you know, we'll discuss that anyway because I think
well, maybe we could just touch on that on some of the team selection before we get into the actual preview, because Porro obviously made his debut for Spurs last weekend against Leicester. It wasn't the best performance. I actually felt sorry for him because I didn't think he should have started. I'd give you my reasons for that before. There were too many changes in that back line. In the game against Milan, was it Raw that started at right wing back?
Yeah.
And so you would have had Perisic on the left wing back?
Yeah.
Because what's his name? Sessegnon's out. I know the back line, again, depending on what happens, Romero would have been back for that game, I would imagine. So the back line kind of picks itself to a degree, but Porro's now this wild card. Is he going to now play him in against West Ham in the London derby, make his debut there in terms of his home debut? I think this should have been his debut anyway. But now he's had a bit of a taste of the way. He knows what the Premier League's like. Is this a game for Royal to play? Because he knows what this game's going to be about. And Porro hasn't played in this. And it's a tough one. As I said, with hindsight, I would have said he would have started this game. But after seeing his performance against bloody Leicester, I'm not so sure now. What's your thoughts, Sid? Team selection.
Do you know what? I agree with exactly what you said. We spent £45 million on Porro. Didn't have a good against Leicester. But again, I think Leicester just came at us and we just folded. I think at home, it's a different environment, different feeling. It's going to be different. It's going to be... I think Porro's going to have to start. But Emerson Rowe's been playing well. And at home, Emerson Rowe's done quite decent. So, do you know what? If it was Conte, I don't think Porro would have started. But with Stellini in charge, I think we might see something different. What I want to see right? But it's not going to happen. I don't want to see Perisic stop. It's not going to happen. I want Richarlison and Danjuma to start this weekend because Kulu's not been playing well at all last couple of games. Son's been awful all season, right? And I think if there's anyone that can drop Son and say to him, you're on the bench today, I think Stellini. I think he can do it. We know Conte ain't going to do it, right? So I want to see now if Stellini's been told to pick the team, take the training, then he should be making the decisions. I don't want Conte to be making the decisions because Conte is not there. And I hope Stellini looks at this and says, you know what, Son, sit on the bench today. I'm going to give Danjuma or Richarlison a hit and a try. You've had it all season. You're not performing. So that's the main change I'm looking at. I'm not concerned too much about Poro or right back or whatever. I'm concerned about Son's performance.
I want to see if, like you just said, who is actually picking this team, because Conte's now said he's going to be laid up. David's put in the comments he's going to be back in about 4 weeks' time. So he should be fully away from the football environment. But we all know the sort of people football people are. I've been one, but not that sort of level. But obviously the intensity of that, they can't stay away from it. So maybe he's had some connections, maybe some calls at home, maybe he's discussed it, maybe he's advised, I don't know, but I just want Stellini to have that authority to do and make those decisions on the day. It looked like it was a case of Manchester City, so I'm hoping that's going to be the case against West Ham. Let us have a little look at our preview. Let's do this preview. West Ham versus Spurs. Spurs versus West Ham, should I say. Okay, let's get into this. Get the banners off the bottom. And we'll do this. Okay, so the league tables as it stands. Manchester City now top, 51 points, having played 23 games. Arsenal second, 22 games played, 51 points. Only by goal difference of City winning. Third, Manchester United. Fourth, Newcastle. Fifth, Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur on 39 points, having played 23 games. Brighton in 6, 21 games played, 35 points. So they are getting ever closer. And you can see the rest all the way down to Villa in 11th place. We need a win, don't we, Sid?
We do need a win. But we've needed wins a lot of the times. And when we've said we needed wins, we don't get wins. So it's a must-win game for us, because if we, again, we keep saying it, it's the same old cliche, but if we don't win this one, then Brighton can close it down to 1 point. Fulham can then come up above. Liverpool now seem to be hitting the ground. So, and then we got Chelsea next week. So we need to win these 2 games, because if we lose on Sunday and lose to Chelsea, I think top 4, top 5 is gone.
Yeah, we've got 2 home games against teams below us. That's one thing, and significantly below us as well. West Ham, obviously not even on the graphic that I'm showing here, and I'll just put it up again. West Ham not even on the graphic. So for you Hammers fans, I know you're going to be coming there thinking it's your World Cup final and that, but you're not even on this graphic. I'm looking at Chelsea next weekend, and again, they're not in the best of forms. Look at that run of fixtures, or run of games, should I say, results. 1 win out of 5. Not saying that we're much better, but certainly we're not playing teams that are coasting away and picking up points all here, there, and everywhere. The fixtures this weekend: Villa, Arsenal, the first game, 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. Brentford, Crystal Palace. Brighton, Fulham. Chelsea, Southampton, Everton, Leeds, Forest, Manchester City. Wolves versus Bournemouth. All the 3 o'clock kickers on Saturday. 5:30 kickoff is Newcastle versus Liverpool. Then into Sunday, Manchester United versus Leicester kicks off at 2 o'clock. And then the big one, the only one, I guess. Well, it's not the only one, because I know that it's not the only one. But it's the only one to us. Spurs versus West Ham. It kicks off at 4:30, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What results do we need to have, Sid? Because I'm looking at Villa, Arsenal. That's going to be a tough game, Unai Emery there. What's this? Chelsea, Southampton. Chelsea should win that one. Nottingham Forest, Manchester City is an interesting game, but that one, 5:30 kickoff, Newcastle, Liverpool. That's a big game.
Listen, we've said it before. All I'm bothered about is the one at the bottom that's highlighted. I don't really care about the rest of them. So let's just move on from this slide. It's irrelevant. I don't care about what everyone else does. We've just got to do what we've got to do, and we've got to win.
So says, so done. Form guide, last 5 matches. Not the greatest of readings. From a Spurs perspective, last time out, 4-1 loss to Leicester. 1-0 win against Manchester City, 1-0 win against Fulham, and then a 4-2 loss to Manchester City before that, and a 2-0 to Arsenal. West Ham draws at Chelsea. At home to Chelsea, away to Newcastle. They won their game against Everton at home. They lost to Wolves away, and they've lost to drew to Leeds 2-2. 1 win in 5 for them, 2 wins in 5 for us. 6 points against 5 points. Young Sid.
Forms.
What do we say about form? We've done it all the time.
Nothing.
I'll let you say something because I can't be bothered.
I've given up on forms because last couple of previews we've said we've dominated these teams, and fixtures, and then we've been gazumped. So form is nothing. There's 3 games every season, home or away, where form goes out the window, and it's just who on the day is up for it. And at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the 3 teams that always come from London are always up for it, regardless of how many games they've lost, not scored, whatever. Chelsea, Arsenal, and West Ham always raise their game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, even at their grounds. So for me, form's out the window. It's just on the day, who turns up, who wants to play, will win the game. Simple as.
So based on what you've just said, that means that we should have at least the performance this weekend, because they didn't perform last weekend. It's a home game. You just said it. West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea always come to ours and want to perform. It doesn't matter about, excuse me, going into the game, what's happened previously, although we're saying that a bit more this season because Arsenal did do the double over us, so we have to mention that. Excuse me again. However, we can go into this game knowing that, we can play to the performances that we did against Manchester City, and that's what we've got to have the benchmark. Stellini can take an unbeaten performances from games that he's taken in charge of us into this. I'm hoping that that's going to be the case. Why are you laughing? Because
I'm reading David's last comment.
Oh, David, he's just what? I'm going to read David's now. I'm going to see what David's saying. Oh, dear. Why? David, stay with us, man. We're not. You two lads are seriously depressing me. I'll switch your podcast on ready to go, but you are too putting the downer on it. We're trying to be realistic because every time I get in this hyper, and I'll put this next slide up as well so we can have a talk about it. This is a season comparison. 5th to 16th, we won 12 to their 5, drawn 3 to their 5. We've lost 8 and they've lost 12. Now, the ones that I always kind of look at, average goals scored per match, as I've mentioned before, we're the 3rd highest scorers in the league. 1.83 goals per match. We're actually scoring near enough 2 goals a game. West Ham don't score much, less than a goal a game. So I don't expect them to score loads. And if they do, it'll be down to our mistakes because the other stat there, 1.52 goals conceded per match, is far too much for a team who's currently in 5th place. For me, we should be in around about 14th with that goals conceded. West Ham don't concede much, but that's why they're in the bottom 3 because they've conceded a bit more than they should have in previous seasons. Chances created per match, as you can see, less than 1 for them, 1.5 for us. God. Should we be winning? This is again the same thing. If you look at these stats, we should be winning this game, Sid.
I was just about to say this will cheer David up. Looking at them stats, right? We should win because West Ham, to be fair, they've not been playing that well. They're one of these sides that are struggling. They haven't got a striker. Antonio's he's their main striker, but he's not doing
keep many clean sheets. Only kept 4 clean sheets. You can see there.
So they do concede goals. Problem with West Ham is obviously all the shithousery that they're going to do, and they're going to give it to the Tottenham players because they know that we've just come back from 2 back-to-back defeats against Leicester and AC Milan. But we are at home. We are going to have 60,000 Tottenham Hotspur fans at home at the stadium, fully committed and behind the players, right? That last week's defeat will have gone out the window because we're at home now. So and it's a derby. So looking at them stats as well, I don't see us losing this game, right? And it's like you said, if we do, it'll be because of our own mistakes. I can't see West Ham playing to actually beat us because I don't think they've got it in them to put in a performance to beat us. with what we've got compared to what they've got. They concede goals. They don't keep clean sheets. We don't. We can concede goals. We don't keep clean sheets. But it's the firepower. We've got it in abundance, and they've got to come out on Sunday. And I think they will. It just depends on how he puts the front three together. But I think we've got too much on them to win that game, and I think we will win it comfortably.
Well, we've got Bentancur's a significant injury, but as you said, the games that I've seen Sarr play, I didn't see the one on Wednesday, but I heard he had a good performance. So again, depending on who that midfield two is going to be, is it Højbjerg and is it going to be Sarr? If they work in tandem well, because it was Skip and Sarr that started the game on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So is he going to bring Højbjerg back in? I'm imagining so. He has to, yeah, because he rested him for this Champions League game, so he must be coming back in on Sunday. It's who he partners him with. Now, Sarr, by all accounts, looks like the player that's kind of stepped out of that shadow of, the Bentancur injury. He might be the one now that gets a bit of a run in the team. I hope so, because he's young enough and he's got the energy. So we got to play him, and he looks good as well. It's going to be interesting about the front three, as you said. Kane, obvious starter. But then there's no obvious starters after that, mate.
No.
What would you do? What would you do?
Honestly, me, I would... You're going to like this one or not like this one. David, please don't hammer me. I would go, honestly, I would start Danjuma and Richarlison and Kane. I would completely mix it up and just say, do you know what? Because it's a free hit kind of thing. So why not? He's seen Kulu and Son all season. Kulu was injured, but he's come back. And since he's come back, he's not been shining at all. So why not give him a rest again? Give Son definite and put Danjuma and Richarlison and shake it up, baby. Shake it up. Yeah, shake it up and put them free and see how it goes. Can't get any worse than what it is. You know what I mean?
For me, I think Richarlison should put teeth back in. Richarlison should get a start for me, because he's the sort of player that you need in this game. You know, that person that's going to be part of the shithousery club. He's the one that's going to put them tackles in, because he knows what this game means in terms of derbies. When he was at Everton, it was the same when he was at Liverpool. The Liverpool fans hated him every time he played. And we, to a certain degree, didn't like him when he played against us, because he would do exactly that same point. So I think he should be one of the ones that comes into this game.
100%.
I think Richarlison, as well as Richarlison, I think Harry Kane's got to start. And me, I would probably still go with Kulusevski. I think Kulusevski has got the ability to make big changes in games, and he has got that ability to turn a game on its head. I like Danjuma, but effectively, I think he's going to play off the left-hand side more so than the right-hand side. So in that sense, I'd play Richarlison off the left and Kulusevski off the right, Kane central, but have them just working as a front three, because you know what Kane does all the time, and Richarlison can come central. The midfield two, I think it should be Sarr and Højbjerg. But then when looking at them wing backs, that's going to be the most important position for us going forward for the rest of the season, because we're lacking now in depth. I heard that Sessegnon's out for a while. Perisic, you've talked about your favourite mate, Perisic. I don't think he's going to be week in, week out, 2 games a week if we've got Champions League to contend with as well, if we get past Milan. So it's going to be a tough one, mate. It's going to be a tough one. The centre-backs, just as long as Tanganga don't start in the team, as long as Sanchez don't start, you can throw up Longley, you can throw in there Ben Davies, you can throw in Dyer, but Romero's got to be in there.
Yeah.
Any other changes for you?
No, because injuries are stopping us from making any changes. So, certain positions, like you said, goalkeeper has to be Brendan Forster. Left wing back is going to have to be Perisic because Sessegnon's injured. Centre backs, like you said, it'll probably be Dyer, Davis, and Romero. So let's see. Unless Stellini just decides to do something completely different and change the formation or whatever, but we're not going to see that. But going back to something you said, I definitely want to see Richarlison starting on Sunday. He has to. And if he doesn't then and starts with Son again, then you know what?
Well, it looks as if this information from Lockman, welcome Lockman, I ain't seen you for a little while, my friend, but thank you for this information. If correct, Decky's carrying injury, that potentially probably won't start the game. That means Richarlison should start the game. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't start on that right-hand side. I think Son will start on that left-hand side, and I think it'll be Kane as a front three if Deji is not playing. We've all said Son needs a rest. I reckon Son could be an absolutely fantastic impact player, not consistently, but for a few games because of the fact that he might be like a bit smarter that he's been taken off and put on the bench. He's like, oh, what? And then he comes on and does what he does. No team wants to play against a fresh Son, 25 minutes left of a game. That would be an ideal thing because you've got a starter in someone like Danjuma. But I don't think it's going to happen. So the front three, I think, will be with Richarlison, Harry Kane, and Heung-min Son. Sid, you like this one as well? Here we go. Ooh, take this off. Here we got to get the banners off. I'm doing this like I'm an absolute amateur. Here we go. So the last 5 results. West Ham, last time out, 1-1 draw. 3-1 to the Spurs back in March 22. October 21, 1-0 to them at their place, 2-1 to them at their place in February of the same year. And back in 2020, October, that game,
That game.
That's
not even talk about that game.
God.
Exactly.
Jose. That was a Jose game, wasn't it? That was a Jose game.
Lanzini, forget that one. Not interested in that one. But look, if you look at that, 1 win, 2 losses, 2 draws. So, like I said to you, it's their cup final, isn't it? So they'll turn up. It
is their cup final. Last graphic then, people. Might like this one as well. Played 53 games, wins to us 25, total wins to them 17. We've won 14 at our place. They've only won. They've won 12 at their place. The away wins, though, they've won 5 times at our ground in the attempts that they've had. And I don't know if they're going to do it this weekend. But Dr. Tottenham is always ready for a call out. He's always ready for a bloody call out. I just don't know if his phone's going to be on. What? We're going to have to do it, Sid. I know I haven't even kept the scores. I've got, you know what? I lost a little bit of the thing for the score prediction because I think we're all trying to be a little bit like cute with the scoring and we're trying to predict this. And sometimes we're not going with our heart and heads on it. And I thought when we're going with our hearts and heads, Tottenham always seem to, well, I'm not going to mention, I'm going to swear. But then when Darius and you started the old stuff, when it was like, right, Spurs, they're going to lose this game. And we were like, oh my God. Now I feel exactly what you feel, man. Because this is, like I said, not for this game, but just in predictions in general, you don't know what you're bloody going to get. You start us off then. What's it going to be? Your score prediction for the game, Tottenham Hotspur versus West Ham on Sunday.
2-1 to Tottenham.
Yes.
Purely because we've had 2 back-to-back losses. Hammering against... Sorry, I'm not going to put it that way. A battering against Leicester City, and that game could have been a hell of a lot worse. AC Milan in the Champions League, not a very good AC Milan side, but they still managed to beat us 1-0. But the performance was better. We're at home. Fans behind us, fans behind the players. Stellini's in charge, which some fans might be happy with because Conte ain't going to be there. But I think we have to put in a performance. And if we don't against West Ham on Sunday and then we don't against Chelsea next week, then there's going to be some problems. Again, it's going to get dirty. But I think the way West Ham are playing, they're not that very good. And even their own fans will say that as well, that they're not very good at all. So, yeah, Spurs to win 2-1. And Kane's going to score 1. The problem is, Richarlison hasn't scored all season, you know. So, is he going to... And I'm going to go with Richarlison and Kane.
Okay, I'm going to go with a 2-0 Spurs win. I'm going to go with Kane. I'm going to go Højbjerg. I think Højbjerg has definitely got a goal threat in him, more so than I've seen in previous seasons. And like you, I'm not quite sure about the others in terms of scoring. Son's not really been hitting the heights of scoring records this season. Richarlison's been out for a little while from the team, injured as well.
Yeah.
Whether he just comes back and starts off like that. We don't know who's going to start. So again, it all depends on who starts this game. But of the front three, we all know that Harry Kane's going to start unless he's injured. So he's almost like a banker, isn't he? You've got to put your money on him scoring a goal because he scored 17 in the league this season. So I'm going for a 2-0 win, Kane. Højbjerg. We just got a few scores coming in
I'm
here.
gonna say, I'm still saying 2-1, right? But and we've said this before. If Richarlison doesn't start, if Kulu starts, then Kulu will score. If Richarlison starts, Richarlison will score. But again, that all depends on who starts.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because we always speculate who we want to start, and
Exactly.
Conte's always said, "No, we're not. I'm not starting that."
Exactly.
No. You know very well. He's always saying, "You know very well. I don't like, and you know very well." No, why? Why is it you know very well? I don't know very well, because you ain't told me nothing. If you tell me, then I will know very well. Tell me why Spence didn't start. Tell me why Raw is just, the man that he thought is that the player that we're gonna see every week. But he's all right. He's done all right. But Porro now, oh God, if he, I don't want to think about if he fails, Sid, but I didn't like that game against Leicester. I would never have started him. I'm still having flashbacks to that game. I really am.
Lockman's confident, isn't he?
Lockman's saying 5-3. David saying 2-1. Kane and Richarlison. I will go with that as well, mate. That's it. Thank you for watching us here at Paxton Road, PRTV. Please hit the like button. YouTube are doing their thing, because, with the algorithms, we can't get ourselves out there. Hence the reason why some changes are coming, so we can try and get around that. So share this content around. Make sure you hit the like button, as I said. Subscribe if you're new. One last comment here. Sons should be on the bench. How long do you start playing in this form? Praying that his form will return. We have given him more than enough time.
100%. Totally agree with him. Totally agree with you, David. And that's why I said Richarlison or Danjuma have to start instead of him on Sunday.
I don't think that's going to happen. We don't think that's going to happen. So, Sid, anything to say before we go? Anything you want to tell the viewers?
No, nothing to say. There's nothing to say. Nothing to say. Obviously, keep watching the content. We should hopefully try and do a reaction show, depending, because we're both going to the game, and depending on what time we get back. I'll probably be the first one back anyway, so I'll try and get one on for the reaction.
If I can't do the reaction the Sunday, we might have to make this one the Monday. Do you know what? I don't mind doing it the Monday. I know it's not an instant reaction. It's just that I'm not sure if I can get back to my PC in time to do it. Let's work it out. We'll work it out. Viewers will have a reaction show. It might be a different reaction show, because the Monday's not usually it's more of a subdued. The Sunday one is always a very much emotional one. Desperate, lads. We are desperate. We're desperate for a win. That is it. Let me get the music to get us out with. It's the thank you very much. And that is really good, because I like the preview. That's Sid done. That guy there. Thank you, Sid. Thank you, viewers. That is it. We're out. See you later. What?